What's up, guys? We're back here at Semi Casual Shop with Tommy Fitzgerald. Got the old man running away and hiding, my dad. I'm getting over being sick. I'm not sick anymore, I promise.
You were sick?
I was.
Oh.
But I'm not anymore, but that's why I look like I'm like half dead.
That's all right. It's been going through my house too. Yeah.
Anyways, we're here at Semi Casual Shop. We've got the Tratter taxi here, and we're going to be doing some work to it. We teamed up with our friends over at PDI, Performance Diesel Inc. Do I have that right? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got a sweet chrome manifold we're going to be putting on this boy. We've got their tuner, and if I heard it right, they're going to be at the Semi-Casual Truck Show.
Yes, yeah. So they did commit to being here. PDI will be here August 4th and 5th, Crossville, Tennessee.
And you guys are going to be selling some products in the sweet new chrome shop.
Yeah.
So the products you see us putting in this video, you'll be able to purchase directly from PDI and from Semi-Casual.
Absolutely.
At the chrome shop here on I-40.
Yep.
Very soon. So
yeah, we'll have that in we'll be keeping them in stock probably.
We're going to get to installing this thing on the Cummins X15. So first things first, you guys will notice that this is a big red Cummins engine. It's got a big red intake, and it doesn't flow as good as the one from PDI. We'll put in the description some of the reasons why this is a far superior intake, other than it being chrome.
Super, super pretty.
And it's a sweet intake. So when we get the old one off, we'll compare them. You guys can see all the differences. So this kit has got all the hardware for it, chrome hardware, gasket, some miscellaneous stuff, and Tommy and I are about to make a mess in the shop. So don't tell Brian. Ryan is at home with his wife. Gave him the weekend off. Figured me and my dad would just come up here and hang out. Full steam.
Full steam.
So we're gonna get the intercooler pipe off here, this clamp, and a few other things, and get it out of our way. Should be, yeah, first too.
Or do you want the whole pipe off?
It'd probably be easier to pull the whole thing out of the way, you think?
It
Just
really
to
would
be out of the way.
Yeah.
I think you're trying out for the NASCAR lug nut team here.
Yeah, no, not me. That's Brian
on the impact
guy. Yeah.
All right, we're gonna set up a little time lapse, guys. We're gonna start getting some of these wires removed out of the way. It's a pretty straightforward process. There's a return line that runs up over here from the rail. It comes out of the overflow valve there, and get this thing out of here and get our new chrome one all installed.
Step one complete.
Intercooler pipe out of the way. Look at that boy. All right, so we're getting the EGR pipe, EGR crossover pipe that runs from the EGR cooler over to this side of the intake manifold. That boy is dirty. Finagling and getting this.
Failing and finagling. It's I'm trying to do surgery with no space over here.
Operation.
Wait, that's tight. Okay, so go the other way. You don't want to tighten it. I don't have enough space.
Jeez, I might have to go get a 1/4-inch drive something. Maybe we can get in there to it. Yeah.
I can't get enough space.
All right, maybe grab another ratchet. All right, one EGR pipe out of the way. This would be a sweet piece to get chromed eventually. Didn't y'all chrome this part on Bill's truck?
I think we had something. I don't know. I don't think we did it on Bill's. That was on Bottom Lane.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure we did Bottom Lane like that.
All right, so we found the right tool to pop these wire pieces loose here. And it'll scoop right up underneath those pop, whatever those things are called.
Yeah.
And we'll get them off this intake manifold. And
the tricky part's just getting under them there.
Yeah. We want to be able to reuse them so it's all properly put back together. I think after you do this one, Tommy, you're going to be back here training the techs.
I don't think that's going to happen. I just get the feeling that they don't want me training anybody. There we go. Don't want that to happen.
No.
Although we're replacing the
Yeah,
intake.
we still want to make sure nothing falls in there on purpose. So, all right, so we're going to finish getting a few of these wiring harnesses out of the way, and then we're going to get this return line off the rail and out unbolted from the intake, and we'll get this thing. This is happening way too easy.
Yeah, well,
I mean, we're not
now
complaining.
You said it out loud.
It's going to take forever. All right. right, so we're down to the last bolt pulling this intake off.
And off it comes.
One factory intake manifold coming off. Boom.
I didn't know they painted them black.
No comment. Right? All right, so we've got the old one off. Let's look at the differences. I'll make some room right here really quick. We got the throttle valve off there. Pretty chrome one. Let's see if we can stand it up right quick. So anyways, we stopped filming for some reason, but the biggest difference is the air comes in here and has to come over here and then go back north. So this is towards 1 and 2.
Yeah, this is like a structural breach in the casting.
Yep.
And so I don't know why they needed it there, but obviously they thought they did for some reason or another. But the air has to go in and go around, and then it splits up right here and goes to each of the cylinders.
Tommy, you do explain it way better than I do. Quite the salesman.
I've been in sales my whole life.
So this one, I'm gonna do my best shot at here. Just comes in the hole here and goes right here where it needs to go for your front 2 cylinders on the engine. So
just instant access to clean air for the engine. So
distributes the air a lot better.
There you go.
For sure. So we're gonna get this boy slapped on there now, and that was not that bad.
That was a lot quicker and easier than I expected.
100%. So we've got the factory manifold off, boat anchor right now, I guess. Nice pretty chrome boy going on, and we're gonna make sure our surface is all clean and get this new one put on there. So before we swap intakes, we got one sensor we have to swap over. Oh, I gave you the wrong size, I think. Yep, dummy me. Give you an 11. There you go. There's the right size.
The coveted 10.
So we're gonna swap this sensor over to the new manifold here.
They come in a chrome bolt?
I don't think it did. We're gonna have to lube this sensor up a little bit. Let me find some oil.
Okay.
All right. So if we really wanted to go all out, we could be painting these pieces and all the other kinds of cool stuff, but that's not the case right now. So we're just gonna simply swap everything over and get it all installed. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Battery dead. Oh, psych. Center. All right, our sensor is swapped over. Not going nowhere. Now we can drop our chrome bolts everywhere. I wonder if we should put like we should look at the old ones. Do they have any Loctite on them? I don't think they did. Yeah, they had like a little bit, so maybe we put a couple dabs of red Loctite on them.
Just squirt some Loctite on it.
All right, guys, we've got the intake bolted up. We're gonna drop the wiring harness down, get the wiring harness and stuff plugged back in here in just a second. But you guys that go to Semi-Casual YouTube and subscribe.
Yeah.
We're so close to 100,000.
I know, we're right there. We really need your all's help.
Right there.
You know, I looked at our statistics the other day. Did you? Squash my head.
Yeah.
I realized that 80% of the people who watch our channel are actually not members or users of YouTube. They actually log in, they search us. They're not technically subscribed.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So all you got to do is create a free YouTube or Google account and then hit the subscribe button. And it's probably very similar with you.
Yeah. Oh, so, it is big time.
Yeah. So that's one of those things. It takes so much. It's a tiny little effort. It's free to do, and it helps me and Bruce way more than you guys.
And it is right here, like right below the video tagged. So all you gotta do is click semi-casual and subscribe.
Exactly. So
people don't realize how much it means to hit 100,000 for the YouTubers. You put in so much work.
It's a huge milestone, and you get the little plaque from YouTube, right?
Yeah,
so,
it's awesome.
Yeah, no, I can't. I'm excited about it. But yeah, we're like 85,000 at the moment, so
climbing.
Yeah.
I mean, organically too, 85,000.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
In the trucking world, no one else has done that.
Especially like the short amount of time we've been doing this. It's pretty cool. Yeah,
it's definitely something to be proud of. So, go subscribe to these guys. All right, so we're gonna get this wiring harness put on here, get a couple things plugged back in, and pretty much button up this here job. And this thing went right on there, pretty simple and easy. Pretty slick products. You know what you're doing?
Sometimes.
Just pretend. Okay, so we got the throttle valve on here, plugged back in. We've got the throttle valve, obviously, like I said, plugged back in. Everything's plugged back in up here. Tommy got everything popped back into place where the mounts go for the wiring harness. I've got our map sensor plugged back in, our injector harness plugged back in. We're hooking up the EGR pipe. Hey, now, don't be cross-threading and breaking. What the?
It's just the
Alabama Loctite, is that what you called it?
Alabama Loctite. I was just getting her in there nice and snug.
So we're getting the EGR pipe put back on here, and then we're freaking moving fast. Going to town. Got our old one right there. We'll get the intercooler pipe put back on, then we have a beautiful chrome intake on there. That just changes the look of the truck completely. Just imagine this thing when we get the exhaust manifold on here for PDI, the piping kit from Dynaflex.
Air intake kit, buddy.
And we've got a aluminum radiator from our friends over at FASS Performance to go in this thing. It's gonna look sick. And then the compound turbo kit. Tommy's like, you know what happened last time you put turbos on something?
I've seen this episode before.
Oh boy. And we've got a FASS fuel system to put on here too, so let's see what we can get done today. That side good to go?
Yep.
Better get your greasy fingerprints off of it. Jeez. Okay, now you're just being ignorant.
Do not touch the trim!
Get this side all tightened up. We'll be ready to rip. There you have it, guys. A completed product install with Tommy at the semi-casual shop. I think this looks awesome.
No, it turned out really well. I like it a lot.
We're gonna measure our fuel mileage on the way home, which is hard for me because
you don't pull anything very aerodynamic.
No. And I just don't drive the same anywhere. It's like Florida, we go really fast. Georgia, we kind of back it off. Tennessee, we back it way off.
Yeah,
so.
well, and if you're pulling if the wind's blowing in a different direction on the way home.
Yeah,
those
we got some tailwind or not, makes a big difference.
Yeah,
but it looks cool, and PDI's done all their research on these things, and they do show some pretty good gains on fuel mileage and stuff like that. So, well, I've got a few other things I got to do to this. You said you're going to go home and cook us some steaks for dinner?
Yeah.
Guys, if you don't know, Tommy makes the most fire steaks. He's just in the kitchen cooking it up. All right, y'all go check out Semi-Casual on YouTube. We'll put them in a link down here, and let's get to working on some other things on this rig. All right, folks, so Tommy had to go cook dinner because he invited all of us at his house to eat dinner tonight. What an awesome guy. I'm going to be getting this factory fuel water separator system out of the way. It's got lots of plugs and all kinds of stuff. I'm going to switch the camera around and show you. I'm a little bit of a first-person camera today because Ryan's back home. So we've got a fuel heater here, which we're removing. We're down here in southern states. I don't really need that. Also, FASS offers a fuel heater system you can install in this fuel pump. And filters set up here we're not going to be installing because we don't need it. We're in Florida and sometimes Tennessee. But anyhow, so fuel heater we're not going to be used. There's a fuel pressure sensor here. We're not going to be using on this setup. We're going to move the sensor somewhere else. We've got a water and fuel sensor. I want to say what that is, and I'm not sure what this one right here is. There's 3 sensors plugged in here. I'm not sure what they all are. I'm going to figure them out though. I'm just going in blind, but I'm gonna figure it out. So I'll get this fuel drained out of this boy into this here container and go from there. Oh, gotta crack this lid loose. There we go. Yummy. Look at all that good diesel just going to waste. All right, so we've got our fuel separator system completely out of the way. You can see it right here. I've got a couple of sensors we're gonna be working with. This was a fuel heater that's 110 that we're not gonna be hooking back up like I mentioned. Our water and fuel sensor, I mean, if we can find somewhere to put it, we may stick it somewhere. The biggest thing is that this is a whole water separation system, and that's gonna do away with having water in the fuel. There's also a, wherever I put it here, where'd it go? Another fuel heater, which is a 12-volt fuel heater that would went into the bottom of that, so it heats it depending on the temperature outside while the truck's running. So we're not gonna have any fuel heaters anymore. But like I said, FASS does offer a fuel heater system you can put on here. We just don't need it, if I'm being frank. So we're gonna take some of these wires, take some of the plugs off these sensors, plug them back in, heat shrink them, and zip tie them up out of the way since we're not gonna be using these things anymore. The vacuum sensor that measures, how plugged up the fuel filter is right there. We're gonna be putting on the return side. It's not really gonna do anything, but I didn't want to just waste it. So we're gonna find something to do with that. But for now, I need to figure out a way to get this FASS mounted up, and then we'll see about getting it all plumbed in. Okay, folks, so I skipped around and we made a bracket here that's gonna go right here, and this is what we're gonna mount the FASS fuel system to. A couple of the wires we tied back up in there we're not gonna be using. We got the brackets bolted on here. We're going to use some of these old fuel fittings because they're going to work just a little bit better than what FASS provided. They did provide this piece that interrupts the fuel return line back to the tank, and that's where the FASS fuel return comes off of here, and using some fuel line they provided and goes, hooks up right there. So next we're going to get this stuff bolted up onto here next. All right, folks, we got a ton of stuff done. The FASS is completely installed. I'll go over every little inch of the installation. We're going to turn the key on and let this thing prime up. We had to pull the battery box covers back off to get these wired right up there, but turn the key on, FASS should turn on. There we go, it's on. These FASS pumps pretty much self-prime. Only thing I'm not worried about a little bit is it's 45. I had to loosen it back up a little bit. Hopefully it's going to seal like it should. Sounds like it's got fuel pressure. Get a little bit of air working itself out of there. So what we've done is we hooked up which is the fuel line right here, comes out of the fuel tank, goes into this like distribution block. So this is the natural suction line right here. We have to the suction side of the FASS. We've got the pressure side coming out, going right into the factory fuel pump down there. We have a small return line off this FASS, which is right here, that blocks in right here, tees in. This fitting comes from the FASS fuel system, and that runs into your return line back to your fuel tanks. And then we've wired in, I found a key on power in this little fuse box here. We keyed into that with one of the FASS fuel fuse jumpers there, and that boy's in there nice and sealed up. That's why we got fuel pressure. Let's kick her on. Also the factory vacuum sensor that checks fuel pressure, things like that. We're not really using it anymore, but I did put it on the suction side here, so we'll see if it's creating any suction on that gauge in there. Fuel filter. Yeah, she's pretty much on 0, but a little above, so, well, see if she cheeches. Oh, turns on and off with the key. That's good. Fires right up. So with everything finally completed and hooked up, shout out to FASS Fuel Systems for getting us set up with a FASS diesel fuel system and filters and all that good stuff, and our PDI performance intake. We've got a few other things we're gonna be installing in the truck. from PDI. That'll be in some of the following videos. But for now, we've got the intake on here and our fuel system on here. And this does drastically change our fuel mileage and fuel separation. We do need to change this other fuel filter right here on the engine. We're going to be doing another service on the engine at 40,000 miles. We're about 7,000 miles away. So I've got to get some filters and stuff like that. Maybe our next trip up here to Tennessee, we'll be doing all that and getting this stuff installed. So like this FASS system is just super simple. You just need a key on power, run it to your batteries, and it just bolts up right here in place. The only thing I do is make this little bracket right here to bolt it up there. But just super simple stuff you can do in your garage. This intake, you can install this thing on the side of the road with just very minimal tools. Super simple, literally nothing to it, just bolts right on there. I do plan on doing a Dynaflex intake piping kits, the PDI oil cooler they just came out with that mounts up on the other side over here, and the compound turbo kit is definitely a big want to on my list. These engines from the factory have a single very small oil cooler on it. You see oil temps like 235 all up to 250, and PDI has released a dual core oil cooler that bolts right here in the side of the engine. We're probably gonna do that at the same time when we do an exhaust manifold from those fellas, and just have some overall amazing engine performance out of this X15 emissions equipped engine. So go check them out. Enough of me blabbing for the video. Go check out PDI Diesel. I'll put a link in the description below. They'll forever be down there, just like all of our other amazing companies we work with. Shout out Semi Casual for letting us work on the truck in the shop as usual. Such a beautiful shop. One day we'll have one. And FASS Fuel Systems for their continued support. We've been working with those guys for like, gosh, 10 years now. It feels like forever. Just top-notch diesel fuel water separation system. So make sure you guys smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, comment down below if you've had any experience with FASS Fuel Systems or PDI and the improvements you guys have seen over the years using them. And go to brucewilsonshop.com, grab your blue collar trucking merch. We'll be releasing some shirts like this, tons of new products very soon, but go get entered to win that RC toy Cabover. I wouldn't really call it a toy, just a really cool RC Cabover piece.